In Figures in a Classroom, I feel that she is celebrating her stage in life as an art student herself by depicting her peers, possibly herself, in that wonderful hotbed of creativity and support that is a brilliant art school. So we're seeing here, I think, 3 students with all the wonderful paraphernalia and mess of a creative space, holding on to unframed canvases, clasping rolled up drawing paper. I think in the background they are either backdrop cloths for a live class or material that might be draped over a live model or even canvas awaiting to be sketched. We see props that they're using, technical props, pieces of equipment, glimpses of other pictures. So it's almost a love letter in paint to being an art student herself, but with references to the rich history of the art school where she trained.
It inhabits that world of isolated individuals in a kind of, hopeless landscape. This is a comment on marriage as well. I've been very polite when I've discussed this recently, and I said he's like his hero, one of his northern heroes, the Finnish composer Sibelius. Now, Sibelius wrote to the woman he was about to marry to tell her that he wouldn't be this guy sitting at home with his pipe and slippers. That's the best way I could put it. Similarly in London, he was very different from everyone else at the Royal College. They were all mainly English, of course, and they were all cultivating what he called the latest fashions, where he's sticking to his guns and developing his own personal voice, as it were. Yeah. This is when he starts drinking far too much. But I think that was all part and parcel of his idea of the bohemian artist. And he was surrounded by all these, dare I say, macho Scotsmen who all thought in a similar, they were there to show the English what to do, all that kind of stuff. And of course, he was painting these very unfashionable pictures. But gradually, slowly but surely, he began to break through, as it were.
The painting National Stadium was produced in the year 2000 in Glasgow. It was part of a whole series of works I was producing at that particular time, which had a very particular quality to them. They were all, there's a kind of bluish quality, quite spectral looking, very, very soft, focused things, usually involving a figure, or sometimes more than one figure, or a body part like hands or feet, emerging out of this very, very dark and undefined space. I think that the work that I produced prior to that in the mid-1990s was very, very busy. Lots and lots of figures, quite chaotic scenes in some respects. Some of the scenes quite harrowing, some of them quite comic, a whole range of factors, and I think I just wanted to quieten it all down a bit. The red ground is something I still use it with every single painting, and it goes back to my student years at Glasgow School of Art, to my second year tutor, Barbara Ray, who was a well-known painter. I was talking about how I found the white of the canvas quite intimidating, and I was kind of worried about how do you go about building up tonalities on a white canvas. I didn't like the white canvas coming through at all. I had this desire to get rid of that as much as possible, and she made this suggestion. She says, well, why don't you work on a ground? I found that painting onto the red directly, there was a tonal relationship immediately established itself. It meant that the painting could be established really quite quickly, which I like because I like to work very, very quickly. And I've used that ground. It was in every single painting I've ever done. And whenever I try to not use the ground, I flounder. I found it really difficult to really engage with the painting. It could be a really subtle, beautiful image to look at, but on the other hand, it's of a horrific thing.
I still see them as being inherently figurative, because when you paint a painting, it has to hit you there. And it's all about the human fallibility. So what you see in the painting is a rectangle, the white rectangle. It's not measured, it is measured to a degree. The line is made by hand, so it's not perfect. There's nothing, if you go from one side, it'll be higher at one side, so it has a possibility of failure. All these paintings stem from making something and dissolving something, making a shape or an object or whatever. So that's why I tend to call them figurative, but they are abstract. But there is a physicality in them, there is an object in them, there's a shape and a form in them, and when people see that, it changes all the time. It's hard, but things should be a bit hard. Well, the nice thing about white is when you have a white painting, it reflects everything that you're wearing. So if you go up and you're wearing red, you will see red in it. I think about a white painting, it reflects the light that's in the room. As it gets darker at night, it becomes stronger. Because titanium dioxide absorbs light. And when you turn the lights off, it gives out light.